Indisputably, the best governor currently elected is Ron DeSantis of Florida. I don't know, fuck you, fight me. I don't think that there's anybody even remotely close. Greg Abbott's great, but he also bumbled the pandemic to begin with. But hey, one guy, great, totally on the level, Ron DeSantis. Indisputable. Florida Department of Education bans critical race theory from classrooms. Yay! Normally, knowledge is power, and if you want to take a look at critical race theory, that's fine. But would you trust a public school teacher to uncritically deliver that racist message, or even just present it as, hey, this shit is a little bit fucked up. You guys want to take a look at what they're trying to peddle over here? I don't trust them. Ron DeSantis clearly doesn't trust them, so guess what? It's out. The Board of Education banned critical race theory in public schools classrooms in a unanimous vote on Thursday, despite a polarizing debate on the controversial topic. What was there, like 2 retards that were there just mindlessly nattering on at a podium? This is important because white people are bad. And then all of the adults in the room were like, yo, these people are fucking nuts. A new amendment by the board blocks topics that distort historical events. Yes, teach facts. That would be cool. Naming CRT the 1619 Project and lessons that minimize or deny the Holocaust. Yeah, I don't think that those things are really in dispute. Critical race theory is just an amalgamation of every sort of neo-Marxist talking point you can think of. The 1619 Project was fucking made up, and denying the Holocaust? Was there like 6 people left in the world who still continue to do that? I understand specifically naming events such as that, you know, to set the precedent if there's going to be something else that comes along. Like, I don't know, denying the Armenian genocide or any other conflicts that may or may not unfortunately arise in the future. You set the guardrails. You lay the ground rules. I get it. Governor Ron DeSantis, who bashed critical race theory for months, opened the meeting and urged board members to pass the measure, which was expected but faced fierce opposition from some critics. Let's see how many. Some of this stuff is, I really think, toxic. Thanks, Ron. I think it's going to cause a lot of division. Thanks again. I think it'll cause people to think of themselves more as a member of a particular race based on skin color. I like this. Rather than based on the content of the character and based on their hard work and what they're trying to accomplish in life. Exactly. It's all about your actions, okay? Judge people on what they do, what they say, only with the actions in which they back them up with, not by what ideology they pledge their allegiance to. Like, I've talked to some good people on the left who might think of themselves as somewhat of a liberal because they want a little bit more government infusion when it comes to daily life. That's fine. We can bicker about the details, but if we're all arguing in good faith that Western society is something that should be preserved and maintained, then yeah, we can have a decent conversation. But if you believe in stuff like critical race theory, that all white people are bad and all brown people are good, everything's an oppression hierarchy, we really don't have anything to talk about. You're trying to discuss The Lord of the Rings like it's a historical textbook, and I'm over here just holding a piece of a pocket constitution. We just don't really have any middle ground. You got Middle Earth. We're just lacking the middle ground. CRT views racism as systemic in societal structures, but critics say the concept forges a narrative that sows ethnic and racial divisions. How could it not, based on just that brief description? CRT views racism as systemic in societal structures. Everything's racist, everything's sexist, and you need to point it out, and everything's a political battle because you can easily define people by their mutable characteristics. I thought we were really far past this. In a lengthy meeting in Jacksonville that included more than 24 speakers, many voiced concerns about the ban, with members against the ban gathering outside the doors, according to First Coast News. Okay, if there were a whole bunch of noisy assholes outside, how many were actually inside to voice their opposition? At one point, a chant broke out among pro-CRT people at the meeting because, of course, they don't really have any talking points of their own. They don't really have any way to back up their crazy ideas. Instead, they just mindlessly chant. They just go back to the well over and over again. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Stupid, dumb shit like that. Just a couple little variations. They emote like they're 5 years old. Oh, here was their chant. Allow teachers to tell the truth. Not very catchy. You should probably work on that. They repeated, prompting the board to take a break during the portion where members of the public were allowed to speak. So instead of speaking and voicing your concerns, you'll just chant because reasons. Oh, it's probably racist to form a line or something. Don't know. Florida Education Association Union pushed back on the measure and called it politically rather than educationally motivated. Students deserve the best education we can provide, and that means giving them a true picture of the world and our shared history as Americans, Union President Andrew Spar reportedly said. Yeah, I agree. That's why CRT and the 1619 Project shouldn't be there. They're fiction, you asshole. Hiding the facts doesn't change them. Well, manipulating the facts doesn't change them either. Give kids the whole truth and equip them to make up their own minds and think for themselves. The amendment says instruction may not utilize materials from the 1619 Project and may not define American history as something other than the creation of a new nation based largely on universal principles stated by the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, exactly. It was started, if you remember this, okay, as a colony of the British Empire, okay? Where did all of those fundamental principles come from? Well, it was based on what was laid out in the Magna Carta from the 1200s. Those principles that have led to the most successful society in the world. One of the only free societies that are out there that allows people to debate such retarded topics like critical race theory. If you whack jobs don't like it, you can go somewhere else. You don't have to stay in Florida. There's places like what? California. Hey, the weather's a little bit better. You can hop over there and you can teach all the wacky shit that you want. Oh, guess what? That's probably one of the states that's going to end up beating Illinois into bankruptcy. So looks like you trying to teach the facts is not really going to end up with anything successful produced. The New York Times 1619 Project is focused on teaching how slavery and the black experience was tied to the emergence of the United States. The project gets its name from the year believed to be when slaves were first brought to colonial America, back when it wasn't even a country. CRT continues to spark heated debate around the country, with many states imposing bans on the theory and local schools seeing parents clash over the topic. Oh yes, there are many of those videos out there, but we're talking about Ron DeSantis and good shit that he's doing. CRT has been banned. Now, anybody to have been found previously in violation of different retarded COVID-19 government overreaches. Okay, if you were found in violation, you received a fine or anything for violating something that could have been deemed against the public health measure, well, Ron DeSantis is refunding you your freedom. You love to see it. Expunging records left, right, and center for a good thing. Not like how records are being kept and wiped clean in places like Oregon and Washington for various rioting violations. But this one, yeah, if you didn't want to wear a piece of cloth across your face, you got a ticket for it. Don't worry, Ron's got your back. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Wednesday announced that all Floridians who were arrested or fined for violating mask mandates or social distancing requirements will be pardoned. In a 3-1 vote, the 4-member Board of Executive Clemency approved the Republican governor's decision to officially pardon those who were arrested or fined for violating local government orders. Yay! That includes the mayor of Tampa, who was trying to go after all of those people that weren't wearing masks during the Super Bowl. And then she was later at a Tampa Bay Lightning game not wearing a mask inside. Ooh, they're almost always hypocrites, those who want to push these draconian policies too far. The action is necessary so that we can recover, have a good transition to normal operations, and also just recognize that a lot of this stuff was way, way overboard. Exactly. I've never said that the virus doesn't exist. I think that would be foolish at this point to deny that it exists. Why would you do something so silly? The only thing that I've ever claimed, and that I'll continue to espouse, yeah, that's probably the word I'm looking for, is that the reaction to all this stuff has been way, way overboard, if I may steal a line from DeSantis. It stopped being about the virus probably a year ago at this point, and it was all about to see how much control you can get, and fortunately there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There are no Ron DeSantises running any of these provinces up here in Canada, but when you see something nice like this, you gotta talk about it. DeSantis said the pardon applies to civil and criminal penalties handed to individuals or businesses punished for breaking unscientific, unnecessary directives. Voting to deny the pardons, was Democrat Nikki Fried, who's currently state agriculture commissioner and is running to unseat DeSantis next year. Holy fuck, is that going to be an embarrassing defeat? Listen, Florida not that long ago was a toss-up state. It was close. And just think of how much different Florida would be right now if Andrew Gillum, the man who was challenging Ron DeSantis in the 2018 midterms to be governor of Florida, how much different the place would be right now. If the man who was found unconscious in a hotel room with pills and vomit and liquor all around him. If he would have been in charge. And he was supposed to win according to all the polls, right? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Nikki, yeah, she has a 0% chance of winning. Our local government stepped up to protect the people of our state. They did the best for their interests of their communities. Yeah, it really paid off, huh? It isn't clear how many Floridians will be pardoned as a result of the State Clemency Board's decision. DeSantis' office did not immediately respond to request for comment. The decision to pardon Floridians who violated local government orders follow an executive order issued by the governor on May 3rd that suspends all local pandemic emergency mandates effective July the 1st. I'd imagine if you got a ticket or you got some sort of bothering from or stemming from these ordinances, if you were unlucky to find yourself in such a situation, you'd probably just submit the ticket somewhere or inform the board of your situation and be getting your record expunged or forgiven. This is really great. No other way to put it. Banning CRT, walking back all of the damage as much as you can from a governmental standpoint of the lockdowns. Previously, we've talked about Ron DeSantis going after big tech as best you can. He's laid down some executive orders when it comes to dealing with them. Texas has also picked them up as well. Can't leave them out. Meanwhile, you have Doug Ducey just not getting his way. I need a budget, so I'm going to go ahead and veto 24 bills. Fucking loser. But this is what a leader does. A leader just doesn't get a title, doesn't just get to sit in a house and then fly away to a home for the weekend and play Mario Kart with his grandkids. No, a leader does something, assesses what's best for his citizenry, and leads by example. You don't tuck your tail and run. You don't blame everybody else, and you love to see it. And like I said to begin, I don't think that there's a better governor out there right now than Ron DeSantis, and he just continues to prove every time that you put a little bit of faith into him. It's like, hey, I was a little bit critical, I was a little bit skeptical if he would actually do anything when it came to relinquishing his emergency powers. He said that he would, and then a couple days later he did. So you put faith in him, and he seems to reward it right now. That could always change on a dime, but his track record kind of speaks for itself at this point. So it's nice to end on a positive note. And with that said, I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. We'll catch y'all later.